So you're saying you feel nervous?
Yeah, I feel nervous. It's 12. 12 is a landmark number.
Yeah.
I know you said 10 was a landmark number, and 11 was, but 12, I mean, look, you got the 12 apostles, you got 12 on the clock. I mean,
I can't
the
think of
12,
anything
the
else.
12th man, that's the supporter base.
Yeah.
They're often known as the 12th man.
Yeah.
Or 12th person these days. But yeah, here we are again, episode number 12, and rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of things
As I
happening
say.
this week, hasn't there?
Where do we start? Where do we start?
At the beginning, like I
yeah.
always say. Cool. Well, Tony Popovic.
Yes.
I think everyone knew it was going to be Tony.
Was that your crystal ball?
No.
No.
It was my bug in the tea.
I'll make a better one next time.
Yeah, Tony Popovic was appointed the manager, the permanent replacement for Graham Arnold, who had a shock resignation last week or the week before last. And so, yeah, Tony's a well-known manager in the Australian football scene, and he's been quite successful on the Asian stage, where he guided Western Sydney Wanderers in 2014 to the Asian Champions League, which is the equivalent of the European Champions League.
Yeah.
And that I still remember that game as if it was yesterday, because it wasn't a one-off final; it was a two-leg final.
Okay.
So they played the first They played the first game in Parramatta, in the old Parramatta Stadium, Pertex Stadium, and that was 1-0. It was scored by Tommy Jewett, who came on as a sub. And, so it was 1-0 to the end, and then they went to Saudi Arabia. And I do remember, I think there's very, very few. These are the times when it was very hard to get into Saudi Arabia, even as a football fan. And I think they had maybe 10 or 15 supporters actually go to support Western Sydney Wanderers in I can't remember what stadium, but it was Al Hilal. Al Hilal has won a number of Asian Champions Leagues prior to that fixture, and the onslaught was just tremendous. It was, pressing, and somehow Western Sydney Wanderers held on.
Yeah.
To draw 0-0 and on an aggregate win 1-0. And that was Tony Popovic. So he's good at organising the teams and stuff. I'm not sure about the attacking side of things, but I think in general defence and stuff, he's a pretty good coach in that regard. Obviously, he's got his haters, and a lot of people that thought when he was appointed, jobs for the boys kind of thing.
Yeah.
But maybe he was the best that we had at the time. And he is probably, because of his experience in Asia, maybe he's probably the best appointment to take us through to the World Cup 2026 and Asian Cup 2027. So
Okay, right.
So I wasn't surprised. I wasn't disappointed. I thought, I think it was a logical appointment. I think Kevin Muscat's in Japan managing, so that was going to always be more complicated. Let's see what he does. I say that just get behind him and let's just qualify. You know what I mean? If you've got any differences, just put them aside for the time being, and just get behind the Socceroos, or the Subway Socceroos, should I say? And support the lads. So that was the first thing I was looking out for during the week.
Yeah.
Thinking, who's going to be? And it was interesting because the Football Australia announced at I can't remember what time exactly, at 11 o'clock, we'll be announcing the new manager, and everyone knew. Everyone knew. So I thought that was funny. That was crazy. How about you,
Mate? Well, coming back to the management position, is it a price thing? Is it?
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
We've got this much.
Yeah.
This is what, take it or leave it.
But that's mad, because you think, okay, does that mean that they want to do well, or is it the fact of we need to appoint someone that does the job?
I wasn't there, mate.
I know. No, I'm just asking.
I don't know. I think every appointment has different terms and conditions.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd know what the terms and conditions were. So I have no idea. I just think look, obviously we've got this objective. We think you're capable.
Yeah.
We've got this amount of money.
Yeah.
Per year. I don't know how much they get paid, but for some coaches it'll be an honour. Once in a lifetime opportunity.
True.
So, it seems like Eddie Howe always seems to be referred to the England job, but there's not every manager would get referred to their national team's job. So I'm thinking in this case, maybe this is like take it now. You can always sign for another club, like Melbourne Victory afterwards, which is what I believe his club was at the time. And also there can be some release clauses in club contracts where if the National Federation comes knocking, then we have to, or we will release you to. Well, it just depends on each national thing. So there's all sorts of different things.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess in the more controlling states, that you do it as you're told.
Yeah.
Where maybe in Australia you do have the option to turn it down.
Yeah.
Can you imagine some of these other states like North Korea? If you don't accept the national job, you won't be seen again.
Well, was it Iraq? Can't even get my words out. It was Iraq, wasn't it? Saddam Hussein's one of his sons had the national team, and when they would lose, they would go out into the desert. Some of them wouldn't come back. They'd get thrashed if they lost. I think they used to get their feet whipped. What I read, whether that's true.
I think that's some propaganda thing. Most players are treated like heroes in those countries.
Are they?
I reckon.
Okay. Depending on who the manager is. I just I go back to Brian Clough. Some of the names he used to give to his players.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know.
What a manager! What a manager!
Yeah.
One of a kind.
I still listen to his stuff on YouTube. I hear like the stories from like
yesteryear.
Yeah, yesteryear. So
Yeah.
Was it Mark Crossley?
Oh yeah.
The goalkeeper. I'm not going to say on camera.
No, do not say otherwise. It's a family-friendly podcast.
What his nickname was, but it is hilarious and how he used to operate. But the stories that come from Brian Clough from other people are absolutely amazing, and you do not get that now.
Well, there's some people on TalkSport that come back and they give us some stories and stuff like that. So go
on to TalkSport. That's what I say. Go on to TalkSport and type in Brian Clough or YouTube.
I've actually been on TalkSport.
Yeah,
I was before the Bournemouth versus Brentford semi-final playoffs to go back to the Premier League. I was interviewed by TalkSport, and it was a lot of fun.
Okay,
it was a lot of fun, and I was joking with the guys as well. Just they think, how do you think Bournemouth? What do you think Bournemouth would do? Do you think Bournemouth are going to get through? And I went, you know what? I think so.
Yeah.
And they said he's not going to say anything else, is he?
No, that's true.
So I've got the recording of that. That was
brilliant.
That was great. That was a lot. That's probably one of the most fun interviews I've done.
Okay.
And I've done a few.
What was the one you sent me recently? Was it Bournemouth TV, or you were getting interviewed by a girl?
Who, me?
By a girl. By a female. Yeah. I can't remember. That wasn't a TalkSport.
Oh, that was
a few years back as well, wasn't it?
We did myself and a fan from Sweden. We did a Google Hangout with Mark Pugh.
There was some camera difficulties for the other chap, wasn't there? Or one of the people.
There was, yes. He had a podcast back in I think this was 2014, and he just. Because he was a local, he just came into the stadium. The guy in Sweden, myself, couldn't have that flexibility or luxury. It was a Google Hangout with Mark Pugh, and what I did, I collated a lot of questions from the people that I found that were Bournemouth fans based in Sydney or Sydney area and in Melbourne. And I just said, give me a question to ask Mark. And I put him down, one question per person.
Yeah, okay.
And, just fired away. And the last question was the best of all, from Ed Tweedy. And he said, you've got a bacon butty. What sauce do you put on it? Brown sauce or red sauce? And Mark Hughes said it's got to be red sauce.
Good.
Then he said it's got to be red sauce, but along with the bacon, some mushrooms and a fried egg.
Yeah.
And I think that's what launched Mark Pugh's foodie career. Because after that, the next thing you hear is after you finish playing, it was healthy living and eating and stuff like that. And I remember sending Mark a couple of times some bacon egg wrap pictures.
Did he reply?
Yeah, he did. He replied every time. He was good. It was funny. It was like wow, like emojis with awesome.
Brilliant.
But that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I forgot what her name was now. She's going to kill me. Max's wife. Anyway, I'll remember it later on during the podcast for sure. But that's good. It's fun, and that's the thing. You put all the effort into creating a supporters group. Yeah. You bring people together. You organise catch-ups, and I do the posters, and get some relationship with the venue, with Cheers Bar in Sydney, and we get treated with respect. We respect other people and stuff. Yeah. And the only reason why we're not recording at Cheers Bar today is because today is the AFL Grand Final between the Sydney Swans, which is this team here now. I'm not sure how the camera is going to go. But this is the Swan. I was going to put it on Matt's head, but he didn't want it. He didn't want it on Matt's head. I'll put it over your head there.
That's it. I'll have that. Yeah, I'll have that.
Yeah, the Swannies. I did try to get someone from Walton and Hersham Football Club because their nicknames are also the Swans.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just schedule wasn't going to. No, it was just difficult to get them times. Yeah, and being in Australia, you try and get people to appear on the show. Obviously not live, but it's either early in the morning or late at night. You know what I mean?
Well, I sent a text to a mate of mine who said yes to coming on the show. Yeah. Right. And in the text I put, so you don't mind, because it's an Australian podcast, waking up at 2 a.m. and doing it.
And he didn't reply after that.
No. Obviously I said, joking, but that is one of the issues here, isn't it? It's like when you want to talk to someone, we've got to get up extremely early, or they've got to stay up, depending on the time zone. Yeah,
and I think it's important that we say that we're flexible because we want them on. So I think it's always
totally.
I think it's respect as well, and we'll do whatever it takes to have an interesting guest on and have a laugh and talk about football and maybe food as well and bacon butties.
I'm getting hungry.
Bacon butties. So that was good. It was great. I've had interviews in the States with 92.9 The Game. That's a radio station in Atlanta, and in Spain we've had multiple radio interviews and TV appearances as well, and newspaper appearances. So it's just mastering and managing the media onslaught sometimes when you create a new supporters group.
Yeah,
and you know what questions they're going to ask, so you prepare for the questions and the answers, and then it's always good to have some fun questions as well. So
is this your way of leading in that we need you need a PA?
I am the PA.
We need a volunteer PA.
Me, I'll do it.
You get nothing in return, but you get the kindness from us.
Yes. So, Popovic. But talking about Australian football, I've got some bad news for you.
What's that?
We missed the deadline.
We did, man.
We missed the deadline. Yes. I would have applied if, because when I went to check, we saw the form, went through it, talked about it on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Then on Sunday or Monday, I went back to the form and realised that the deadline was on the Friday, the day before we even spoke about it. So I'm thinking, great. There is another application you can put in for the finals series.
Okay.
But I preferred to have some normal A-League experience rather than just applying for finals, which is the same thing. It's the same thing, but it's more, it'd be a lot more people would be requiring that, grabs more attention.
Yeah.
So anyway, it is what it is. I'll get some tickets for the Auckland game.
Okay.
Auckland FC, we're coming. We're coming to the Allianz to watch Auckland versus Macarthur Bulls.
Don't bring your flagpole because it will get taken off at customs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't bring flagpoles. The port, the Bay 22 Supporters Club will be there. There's the Auckland FC New Zealand, and Australia supporters also organising to get tickets. So it'll be a fun occasion. So look out for me and Matt, and we'll be outside the stadium before the game.
For this head.
Yes, that's right. So we'll polish some extra so to reflect off the. That'll be a good game.
I wonder how much flights are
to Auckland
from.
I'm sure. Let's charter a plane.
I'd love to do that. I'd love to have the money go. We need to get to Auckland today. Let's go. How much, please?
20,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I've always.
Oh, that's not including the pilot fee, by the way. Yeah.
Is that?
I'm just kidding, mate.
I was going to say. I was like,
we'll get Colin to fly.
Colin, what are you doing next week? Yeah, I've always wanted to do something like that. Then
you have to put some overtime in your job.
And lose a kidney as well.
Yeah.
At that rate, sell it on.
Yeah, so didn't get the press pass, but hey, it's
yeah.
But something to work to maybe the next season.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be good. All right, so I've mentioned a couple of things. Did you want to talk about the betting thing?
Oh, yes. I had to think then. My brain went blank then.
Yeah. Just about it doesn't when you're betting.
Just bet on anyone. So, by all accounts, where did you see it to? I can't remember where you saw it to, but there's was it 29,000
instances of betting ads. I think it was in one of the Premier League matches involving West Ham.
29,000?
No, I sent you the article to have a look at it.
I didn't get round to it.
This is the bit where you make it up.
I know. So I looked at it.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, no, because we were going to talk about this last week and we never got round to it about betting on, betting in general, because next year they're on about banning it, aren't they? Completely banning it.
Premier League or the whole Football League?
Shirts. On the Premier League, it's going to be on the shirts.
Right, that's so no betting firms on the shirts.
Yeah.
So what, the billboards and things, they'll still be able to...
I didn't read anything. Well, sounds silly what I'm about to say. I didn't read anything about that. What I read was in that article was they were banning it on the shirts.
Shirt sponsors. So a lot of people will be happy, especially in Bournemouth. Yes.
Well,
Ben Jones will be happy as well.
Ben Jones will be over the moon. Well, actually, no, he loves it because he's like, but I'm not 88 years old. But he, especially, not him, sorry.
He would have been born in 1988, surely.
No, I can't remember. I'm sure he's probably 90, 89. No. How old is he?
Well, you would know. I don't know.
Remember now. But what I will say is that there was, when I looked on Facebook about the shirt sponsors, obviously there's always negativity wherever you go. It doesn't matter. Haters will always hate. But there's a lot of people complaining still about the shirt sponsors.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and we've spoken about this before, and it's just like, look, it's there. Get on with it.
Yeah, well, you've got two options. You've got a sponsorless shirt, which they're selling, and also the Bournemouth University.
Yeah.
Which is the women's team, but they also have men's sizes. So what's the issue?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So yeah.
But when it comes to the betting, we actually, I came up with it. See if I find it here, on here. It's probably in the other book. But in general, I was chatting to you about this. They're taking away the sponsors on the kits for the betting, but they still promote around the clubs like fast foods and foods that are bad for you.
Like Coca-Cola and McDonald's.
Yeah, yeah. So they take away the kit sponsors because they're saying they say they don't want to influence people. But I'm thinking, but then you've got other sponsors that are influenced that isn't any good. You know, you look at Ronaldo. Can't even pronounce his name properly. Look at Ronaldo. There was that press conference that there was a bottle of, was it Coke or Pepsi or Monster, whatever it was, and he took it away and he said, no, this is the best stuff to drink.
Water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And quite basically, when you're him and you're at his level, you can do that.
Yeah, you can.
But so it's just that it just I'm slightly treading into being a little bit political here, and it's why are they taking certain things away and allowing other things and then keeping other things? And
because they took everything away, there'd be no money at all.
Exactly.
So,
I totally
it's almost
understand
like
that.
the cigarette advertising in Formula One.
Yes.
I think it started in Formula One, didn't it?
Yes.
Because you had Marlboro, you had Lucky Strike, you had all these cigarette companies that were plastered all over the car. John Player Special. I remember those cars from the 1980s. I remember the beautiful, beautiful colours and stuff. John Player Special was that black thing, silk cut. You don't get silk cut here.
No, you don't. My dad used to smoke them.
So you really?
Yeah.
Well, that was a high end cigarette, wasn't it? Or
no, definitely not. If my dad smoking
I thought. Well, okay. So John Player Special would have been kind of special.
I think so. Yeah.
John.
They were a bit more expensive.
Yeah. But now that the cost of cigarettes is like $30 or $40 per packet. Yeah, I remember in Spain when I first moved to Spain, cigarettes were 18 pesetas per packet. That was one. That was like
18 pence, wasn't it? I hadn't taken
less
the Mickey.
than 18. I was £1 was 200 pesetas.
Was it?
So so 20 pesetas was 10p.
Yeah.
So 10p. Yeah.
10 pence.
10 pence.
Did your parents smoke?
My dad used to smoke a pipe.
Okay. Did he send you up to the shop to...
No.
See, I think I might have been sent up once or twice.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have sold it to you.
I think this was... I'm sure it wasn't over 18. Whatever it was still... You think it was back in the 80s where you could probably... I think he did. I'm sure I did. I remember a mate of mine went up the shop and bought alcohol. He was actually over 18, and then my dad asked him to go back up there to buy cigarettes, and they wouldn't serve him because they didn't look over. He didn't look over 16 or something like that. He goes, "I've just bought alcohol," and they were like, "I don't remember you. I came up about an hour ago."
Wow, give us back the alcohol.
Yeah.
So yes, I understand. Ronald McDonald. I think it's one of those ironic things, especially if they sponsor McDonald's in sports.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, you're encouraging people to eat fast food, but then, you're supposed to be healthy.
Yeah.
Even Auckland FC on one of the sleeves has McDonald's logo.
Wow.
Yeah. I was actually quite disappointed when I saw that.
Okay.
I thought, man, I should have bought something before any of the sponsors came out. You've got Anchor Butter on the front. I don't mind that. Anchor Butter's good.
Yeah.
But then you have McDonald's. I'm thinking, man.
I'm hungry now.
Bacon Buddies, McDonald's.
No, but I don't understand why... Yeah, again, I'm tiptoeing on that line of why they have to go... It's never made me want to bet. This is me personally. Does that make people want to bet if they've got a problem?
It works differently for different people.
I suppose, yeah.
I think my Spanish side of my family, my Spanish granddad bet pretty much every day, and my grandparents in Spain were never able to buy a house.
Oh, okay.
Because he was betting and wasting all the money.
Wow. Okay.
And I guess the thing with betting is that you can lose everything in one bet, whereas there's so many burgers and so much alcohol you can drink. So you won't lose millions of dollars by drinking alcohol in one night. You know what I'm saying?
Leading on to our next topic, we're going to see how much alcohol and burgers we can sink it. Imagine that, supersize me in an hour.
Wow, yes. Didn't the guy die recently?
Recently, yeah.
Morgan.
Oh, I can't remember his name, but I can't remember what he died of, but...
Probably not McDonald's. I remember watching that movie. Morgan Spurlock.
Was that his name?
That's what his name was, yes. Wow.
He couldn't get back, bless him. He had Supersize Me, which went really well. But I don't think he could get anything as good as that to film again. He did do a couple more.
It was a special type of movie, wasn't it? It
Brilliant.
It was a kind of documentary, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so and I thought what was important at the time, especially it was early 2000s, I think it was.
Yeah.
And just highlighting the obesity problem.
Yes.
You know, and this is where I have it. You know, you have sports and you have kids doing
hold on.
sports. One moment, let me finish this.
Allegedly, obesity problem. We have to put that in just in case there's any issue here.
Oh, okay, yes.
I was going to start bad mouthing everything about every food company, and it's like, but it's allegedly.
Just like Man City, allegedly.
Allegedly, 115. And what about yellow cards?
129.
Yes.
Actually, that's in its second week now, so next week will be its third week. I haven't looked into it.
No, I haven't.
I'm not going to look into it until maybe halfway through.
Yep.
Got a guy in England who's good at finances and stuff like that, an ex-accountant. So might be asking him. You know who you are. I might be asking him some more questions about
Chancellor
Bournemouth.
of the
Actually,
Exchequer.
see what Bournemouth's. So what was that?
Chancellor of the Exchequer. We're coming for you. We know where you are.
Bournemouth. Yeah, I just want to find out whether Bournemouth are in any trouble, or are they likely to be in any trouble, or are they managing the finances well? You know, every team will be. We talked about maybe each club hiring a financial fair play, and what's the other acronym? The Profit and Sustainability, PSR.
That's it. Yeah.
We'll find out. We'll find some information.
I still don't get it. I still can't see with a football club and how much money they spend. I can't see how they can
profit loss, balance sheets, you know, that sort of stuff. But so yes. I hear Donald Trump's thinking of buying a new golf course. In SW19.
Yes.
It's SW19, for those that don't know, is the postcode of Wimbledon.
Yep.
And I think it was just this last week that's just gone. There was a waterlogged pitch at, I think it's called Plough Lane. And it certainly did look like it was ploughed. And one corner, as you can see, it looked like the sand bunkers from the golf course. Yeah. So I made some adjustments to an image. And put that there. And I think Donald Trump's thinking, you know what? This is a great, the biggest, the greatest ever. I can't do his accent. It's like I think why spoil it? You can have the multi-million-pound golf course now in the southwest London. So
it's an AstroTurf pitch.
It's not. It's a turf pitch, but I think what they've done is that they different pitches would have different types of. You've got the pressure, and you've got sand, and you've got different layers of material.
Yeah.
You obviously got your, when you roll out the turf, it depends on each club as to what sort of undersurface that they have.
Yeah.
Some clubs have the draining, some have the undersoil heating.
Yeah.
That's the whole line of. It's a completely interesting line of work to be in, because there's no one size fits all. It's not like the 70s where if it rained it was a mud bath that you still played. I remember seeing a Derby County versus Leeds game or something like that in the 70s where it was just like they ended up with the same colour shirt. It was flooded.
So when it snows. Have you ever seen it when they play with the white ball on TV?
Well, they don't. They play with an orange one.
Yeah, but when they have done.
No, I haven't. Well, I don't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing.
It's hilarious because there's people just running around and you can't. It's ridiculous.
But anyway, so what happened was that Wimbledon, AFC Wimbledon was due to play Newcastle United in the Carabao Cup, but it got postponed because of this issue, the flooding. And and what happened was Wimbledon obviously is a League One club, and they needed to raise money, so they started a GoFundMe or whatever type of fundraising platform they decided to use. And Newcastle United donated £15,000 to that. So I think they've actually on this date, the 29th, they've reached over £100,000 now.
Okay.
And I don't know how much it costs to fix the pitch, but I think £100,000 would probably make a dent.
Wow.
In there. And what's going to happen now is they're going to play at St James Park in Newcastle.
Okay. Yeah.
And the proceeds, 45% of the proceeds will go to Wimbledon, And
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's a normal amount when teams go play in someone else's ground as to what the percentages are like. But I think 45% sounds pretty generous, especially the capacity of St James Park,
Yeah.
which would be around the 50,000, I think, or 40, 50,000.
Yeah, it's up there somewhere. We were looking at it the other day.
Yeah. So that's that's great. I mean, it's great. I mean, £15,000 in the grand scheme of things isn't much for a Premier League team of the size of Newcastle, but it's still a gesture.
Yeah, I'm not taking the mickey when I say this, but that's lunch for the
executives, maybe.
Yeah, that can be.
But anyway, look, it's still great. I mean, they're probably still the biggest donation that's been given, a single donation to Wimbledon, maybe. So we'll see what happens. It wouldn't be ironic if AFC Wimbledon go and beat Newcastle at St James.
Can we have that 15 grand back? Yeah.
Yeah. So talk about stadiums. I wanted to also talk about Luton Town.
Okay.
Now, I noticed Luton Town have put in the planning application for their Power Court Stadium.
Yes.
Now, Power Court Stadium's about half an hour walk from their current ground, which is Kenilworth Road, and Kenilworth Road is in Berry Park in the suburb called Berry Park. So basically, you just walk past down the Ewer Halal Cash and Curry, past the Berry Park Mosque, down past the train station, past the Hatters Art Factory, and bang! It's this big. It's an area which is quite. Is a bit of an abandoned area, according to Google Maps. Of course, I don't know how old or how many years that is there, but there's a couple of problems.
Okay.
And it was interesting because it's not just a normal planning application for Luton Town. They got to divert the River Lee. That's one of the things. And there's also a substation there as well, so they have to deal with that. And so it's quite a bit of a challenge, and yet they've still managed to put in the planning application for 25,000 seater stadium, which I think's, and I've seen the pictures, and you'll see the picture here. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
I think it's really good.
But only 25
for Luton Town.
Yeah,
but Bournemouth is not going to be any bigger.
No, that's true. But weren't you saying that they've got? Their aim is to
be in the Premier League, and to have a decent stadium. But with their stadium of 10,000 or just over 10,000, it's not sustainable to be in the Premier League. Obviously, having said that, Bournemouth has managed to at least stay 8 seasons in the Premier League. This is the current 8th season that they are in the Premier League. I think we've had some good investors, we've had some good planning, and we've got some good signings. And also the other thing was, when Bournemouth first made the Premier League, the aim was to really bolster the squad, not go into infrastructure.
Yeah, okay.
Because what's the point of building this nice stadium if you don't focus on the squad to stay up in the Premier League?
Yeah, true.
So it looks it's a great looking stadium. They're hoping to have it finished by the end. I think it's the end of 2027, and I think it will take a bit longer, to be honest. Especially if they've got that substation they've got to deal with, and the diversion of the river there. So
I think that's the main one, mate. The diversion of the river. I think the actual electrics.
I think they're two separate challenges. There's lots of different companies that are involved in the application, the planning application. So we'll see. I think it's great for Luton Town. Yeah, I think it's great for the town. It is for the redevelopment.
Diverting of a river. Diverting of a river.
Well,
I just had a thought about that, and I'm going, they've got to divert a river.
It happens all the time. Just ask the Turkish government.
What did they do?
Well, they divert rivers all the time.
Do they?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but so it's not as impossible thing as people might think it be. 2027. Because when I first saw it, I'm thinking, wait a minute, what about all the houses that got knocked down?
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was in a new spot. So
Okay.
So yes, I wonder what the current Kenilworth Road will be. But anyway, that's anyone's guess.
You know how they're going to do it? So if there is houses there, they'll over the river around the houses and go.
It's near the train station. It's near the Luton train station, the main train station. So maybe a bit of excavation. Maybe
Yeah.
That's what landscape people can.
Couple of lads, shovels.
Yeah, just shoveling.
That's it. We'll just keep going. What are you doing? Diverting a river.
So that's that. Aston Villa Wolves.
Yes, mate.
Did you watch that? Did you watch that game?
I did.
Midlands derby.
I did. I watched it very well as I changed my notes over.
Did you write it down twice?
I did.
Like last week.
That was hilarious. It makes me laugh because I'm like, shots. I did that. I've already written that down. No. Now we're going to talk in reverse of these games.
All right.
Well, as in the stage that I watched them, because as you brought up, Villa Wolves, the Brummie derby, 3-1 to Villa. We'll go through stats. Possession was not too far apart. Do you know what I mean? 53% compared to the 47%. Total shots on goal, Wolves had one more, 10-9.
Okay.
And then the shot accuracy was 80% from Wolves compared to Villa, which was 66, which is quite a shocker to me. And then total passes, not a lot in it, just shy of 450 compared to Wolves, which were just shy of 400. Yeah, but 3-1, mate.
3-1.
3-1.
But Wolves scored first.
They did,
and
yeah.
what a goal it was.
Yeah.
From outside the box.
Yeah. It was a cracking game anyway. Well, I say it's a cracking game. It was a good game. Good game.
But the Villa left it late.
Yeah.
Come back, didn't they?
Yeah. It was, well, I think the first half was all Wolves.
Yeah,
They never...
And up until about the 72nd minute, it was still Wolves winning 1-0.
Oh, I didn't know that. Even though I watched it, I didn't know that.
No, see, you look at certain things, I look at other things, so we'll fill in the gaps. But
there seems like a big gap over here.
So it was interesting. Ollie Watkins equalised, and then I lost. I lost the other two players.
I have to write it down, mate. How do you?
But
you
I don't
there?
have any notes. I think they scored the third goal in
93rd
added time. Yeah. So in Unai Emery is the Aston Villa manager.
Okay.
He'll be happy. I think he was doing his celebratory punches and stuff.
He was dancing up and down the goal line.
Yeah, mate.
The goal line, the sideline. Sorry.
Sidelines. Yeah. No.
But
I feel sorry for Gary O'Neill. I mean, they've only still got 1 point.
Yeah.
At this stage, in the Premier League, so they're in the bottom three.
Yeah. But yet again, it's those teams that.
But Wolves has got the quality. They've got the quality, right? So it's just. I think it's just fine tuning.
Well, they dominated. They dominated in the first half, and then they switch off. One goal goes in, two goals go in. That's it. Head goes down. Third goal.
Yeah. Well, what happens is that one goal goes in, two goals go in.
Yeah.
Good. And then they think, well, we've got to do something about it. Then they move up, and then Aston Villa take advantage of the space in the back. So I mean, that's the classical thing anyway. When you're losing and you're running against time. But with Gary O'Neill, I think often even when he was with Bournemouth, he tried to sit on the 1-0 lead, and that's never going to work well. No. You've got to push for the second, got to push for the third before any other goals come in. But and that was his hallmark thing. I think that was his demise at Bournemouth. If ever Bournemouth went ahead, sometimes it worked. Like for example, when Bournemouth under Gary O'Neill beat Liverpool 1-0, they somehow held on. But it's a different game playing 1-0 up against Liverpool and trying to get a second and a third.
Yeah.
You're more likely to concede rather than going 1-0 up against Burnley or Brentford.
Yeah.
So it's just reading the game, knowing what players are capable of doing what on the opposition side, and making that call as to what what type of game you play. So it was interesting. It was a great goal from Wolves. I loved that. I thought, wow, that's a cracker.
Yeah.
What other games do you watch?
Well, so I watched the City Arsenal.
Ooh.
But we'll leave that till last.
You leave it to you're leaving the best till last, are you?
But I also watched, obviously, Bournemouth Liverpool, which we lost 3-0, which was a shame. But Bournemouth played well. But
that game seems like it was ages ago.
Yeah, I know.
Was it just last weekend? It was just last weekend.
Yeah.
It's just this week's
Was
been just flown by. No. That was on the Saturday.
Yeah. Just all the games. It's because we're reporting on them later on, and of course now we're focusing on the next week. So
yeah. So how was that game,
mate? That yet again, I actually enjoyed that game yet again, but there was the quality from Liverpool. They had. Do you know what? I think I was watching a different game because the possession wasn't much in it. There was just under 60. It's 59% to 41. Total shots. Bournemouth had 19. Liverpool had 19. Yeah? Which is...
These stats mean nothing really when it comes to the 3-0 ultimate thing.
Yeah, but
so
it's
just what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Were they 19 shots on target? No.
No.
I doubt it, because normally the on-target shots are normally between like 3 and 7 or whatever.
Shot accuracy was 40% from Bournemouth, and I think 81 to Liverpool.
Okay, shot accuracy.
Look, mate, Semenyo got a disallowed goal in the 3rd minute.
It was the same time he scored against Liverpool last year.
Yeah.
But it was definitely offside. Yeah. There was no doubt about it. I mean, it's a shame that he bothered to put all that energy into a celebration. He didn't have any energy left for to score more goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was it just Haaland. He scored in the obviously.
Wait a minute, which game is this?
He scored in the Man City Arsenal game.
Oh, we're moving games already.
No, we'll come back. But with Semenyo, I always think that because how professional these lads are meant to be.
Yeah,
you've got to watch the offside. You got to watch the line. You have to watch the line.
Yeah.
He was a shoulder, a foot over, whatever. Do you know what I mean? But still, it'd have been a great goal if.
Yep.
Anyway,
see, remember when Semenyo first played for Bournemouth that he only seemed to last 60 minutes, and he's always come off after 60 minutes. So obviously he's worked on his fitness. The gaffers, the club's. Obviously, main aim is to make sure players can last the 90 minutes. So, yeah. But I always thought, oh, man, Semenyo's coming off after the 60th minute. This is last year.
Yeah.
And most of probably at least half of last year, he'd come off at the 60th. So he's lasting a full 90 now, which is great. And that's testament to the physio team and the team at AFC Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, still more work to be done.
Yeah, totally. It's a
shame. They were on top of Liverpool for the first.
Yeah,
how long? Wasn't the whole first half, was it? It was maybe the first 15 minutes or something.
I was just about to say 15. It seemed that.
You've got to convert your chances.
Yeah.
You've got to create them in the first place, and then you've got to be clinical enough to convert your chances. I mean, I've seen. I can't help but see how Solanke's going at Tottenham.
Yeah,
and he's scored 2 goals, one in Europe, and the last game against Brentford, both similar type of goals where the shot's been shot and the goalkeeper parries it, and then he's just there to knock it in the back of the net.
Typical old-fashioned striker,
Typical old being in the right place at the right time, and I'm thinking, good on him, But in the early days of Solanke, he would have sort of missed because he couldn't score a goal to save his life.
Yeah.
When we first signed him, and I remember it was like 15, 20 games without scoring a goal.
Was it that long?
Yeah, it was a long, long time because we had him in the 2019-2020 season. We signed him, and his first goal came against Leicester City at the end of the 2020 season, and he scored 2 in that game against Leicester in a 4-1 win. Bournemouth, and that gave us hope that Bournemouth are going to survive.
Yeah.
But then we didn't do well in the other games, and thought, finally he's scoring some goals. But it took a long, long time.
Yeah. Sometimes, I think you've said it in past podcasts, about him. Like I said, it's just time to settle in. Time for every player to settle in sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. So it's. I knew it wasn't going to be long before Solanke scored at Spurs.
He looked like he was getting ready. Do you know what I mean? He's pushing it. It didn't look like he was not going to score. It looked like it was just a matter of time.
The only thing that looks weird on him is that number 19 shirt, because it's not a 9. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so used to seeing with a number 9 shirt on his back.
Just one more digit.
That's right.
Yeah. Mate, well, Liverpool's goals, I'm quite a fan of it. Diaz, great player.
Yeah.
Absolute amazing player. Just his timing, his running, everything, his attacking ability. It's just amazing to watch. And this is the first time I've actually properly watched him. And I was like, wow. Don't even know where he's from. With Diaz, you hope it's like some sort of Mexican, Spanish.
Not Mexican, probably South American.
Yeah, somewhere. But yeah, and Núñez scored their last goal, but that was all of their goals were in first half.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
So technically it was a 0-0 from the second half. Bournemouth.
We come close. We hit the crossbar, mate. In like just.
Oh, was that Tavernier, or was that that was a previous game?
I can't remember. I just
know Tavernier hit the bar, but I think that was a previous game. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a quality strike. It rattled it. But
I'd love to see one day when a shot that's fired so hard at the crossbar actually breaks it. I'm sure it happened in the 1920s.
I think I've seen it on YouTube somewhere where the goal comes down and hits him on the head. Or was it Benny Hill?
Yes, it was Benny Hill.
It's probably Benny Hill. Again, mate, Bournemouth played well. They played well, but they got outplayed by by Liverpool.
I think there's a mistake by Kepa for the first goal, but I think he was okay after that.
I was actually just about to write down, and I remember this clearly. This is how my brain is working. Writing down clearly that Kepa was keeping them in.
Yeah.
Go on, show us that again. Go on.
No, sorry. You're going to have to refer to previous podcast.
Right, I was just about to write down. He's keeping them in the game, and then I was like, he mucked up there.
Yeah, he did. I think it was just a miscalculation or something. Yeah, overstepped or something. But
it could have been more. It could have been more.
You reckon?
Kepa. Yeah, in the
could be my famous 9-0.
Well, yeah, yeah. Curry and chips.
Curry and chips. Oh man, that was the ultimate. That was the antidote for the disappointment. Honestly, I kid you not. Check out that Chinese shop near the stadium.
Yeah,
Chinese fish and chip shop. Well, I think it's a curry and chip shop.
Yeah,
£4 it was, but it was the best £4 I spent.
I miss a good
chipper.
Chip, yeah.
Do they call them chippers in England, or is that Ireland?
Chippies.
Because I know chipper in Ireland. When I was in Donegal, the Donegal chipper, and I was in Donegal. I was in all over Ireland, in '98. But I love Donegal.
I never got up there, mate.
That's why we went up there, because we thought no one ever goes up there. I think let's go up there. Went to Killybegs, which is the fishing, the main fishing fleet of the Irish fishermen on the west coast. I went up to Adra, which is the tweed factory, and Donegal, and the Donegal chipper.
Yeah.
And Sligo did Sligo as well. Sligo's a bit of a grey type of. I think I preferred Donegal to Sligo. Sorry, guys. I love going to remote parts of the world.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that.
Big fan of that. I just wanted to say before we're moving on to your Arsenal Man City.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the Atlanta United shirt today, and also bought my. I run a Sydney 17 supporters group, and I'm not sure if this is going to interfere with the camera. There we are. This is in. We just heard yesterday. Australia, ATL. We heard yesterday that Darren Eales, the CEO of Newcastle United, is going to step down from his position due to a chronic blood cancer that's been detected. And Darren is an English guy. He used to play in England and the States as well. He was the president of Atlanta United for the first 20 up until maybe first 3 or 4 years or something. And then he went to Newcastle United. Now you'll be able to hear a bit more about that story in the interview we had with Reginald from Atlanta.
Yeah.
But he was instrumental to the success of Atlanta United. And yeah, it's a bit of a shock. He's only 52 years of age.
Wow, 52, man.
So he wants to, just spend more time with the family and fight this off.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him. Who wouldn't? You know what I mean?
Totally.
Football is a stressful job, and especially his position. So we wish him all the best from the Nick and Matt podcast. Get well soon, Darren.
Yeah, get well soon, mate.
He at Atlanta United was at the start, before everything single game started, he'd be out walking in amongst the fans at the tailgates, at the different supporter group tailgates and things, and he'd just he would basically just hang out with the fans. And I've got a couple of pictures which we'll put up here of him showing Sydney 17 scarf, which a few people from Atlanta bought. And he's the nicest guy. He's a great sense of humour, and so just get well, Darren. And we're all behind you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a shame,
happen,
isn't
don't
it?
they?
Yeah. Terrible, mate. You know, there's not a lot you can say, but just stay positive and just.
And you just don't know when it's going to strike.
No.
You just don't know. You can't. You've got to live every day of your life as it's the last, and enjoy it as much as possible. Be with family, if you know, and don't take anything for granted.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree with that, mate. Yeah.
Man City, Arsenal. Or was it Man City, Arsenal, or was it Arsenal, Man City?
No, it's Man City.
It was at the Etihad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
47 games unbeaten for the City.
Yeah.
So I think they've technically gone 48 now.
Yeah.
2-all. Sorry. Arsenal had a man sent off. There was a little...
Was that for an offensive use of a water bottle?
No, it wasn't.
Just going to move the chair closer. Yep.
Right, stats.
Oh, here we go.
You love the stats. You love the stats.
Go on, rattle your stats off.
77% possession towards Man City. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
To 22 of Arsenal.
Oh, 22 of Arsenal.
Yeah.
So who had the 1%?
The ref. And we'll go into that in a minute. I rounded, it was something like 76 point something.
Yeah,
I rounded
No,
it
I
up.
thought I'd flag that. Flag that, you know.
Yeah.
Flag.
Yay!
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Total shots. Now you need to guess this one.
Okay, let me guess. I haven't seen the total shot. For who? Which one?
Man City, first of all.
On target or just total shots?
Just total shots.
50?
33.
Oh, okay.
Now.
That's an interesting number. But anyway, yeah, carry on.
Arsenal, how many total shots?
50. 50-50.
5.
Oh, my goodness me.
Yes.
Oh.
And total passes was 705 to City and 208, I think it was. 268. I can't read my own handwriting. Right, but it was low. It was low.
And did Arteta still expect to come away with something, even with those low numbers? He did, didn't he?
He did, mate. He did. Haaland scored the first goal.
Okay. Oh yes, because they sent him on through, and this is the example where Semenyo should learn from Haaland.
Yes.
And how to time those runs.
He cut through the defence, mate.
He did, but he timed it perfectly.
Yeah.
And he had a bit to spare as well, so there's no date. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Easy for you to say.
Hey?
Easy for you to say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he learned from me anyway, so I mean, it's just... so this is where I'm just making sure that he knows, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
It was
great. It was a great goal.
Yeah. Stunning. Even looking at it from my perspective, I was like, and even with the looking at half time when they showed him, he and what I was saying about Semenyo, what you just said just now, you got to be that little bit more professional, I think.
But he is professional, but it's fine tuning. That's what I think it is. Just fine tuning, and that's what training is for. Training session, and the gaffer and spending time, it's just fine tuning. They're all professionals, right? Yeah. I'm standing up for Semenyo. Shame on you for saying that. It's. Look, that's quite rare, standing up for Semenyo when he comes from Bristol City. Because I am a Rovers. Rovers fan. Well, that's where I first started my football journey. But I like Semenyo. He is probably still my favourite player at AFC Bournemouth. And that I mentioned that to Reginald last year, and he said, "Check out Semenyo. He's fantastic." And he said, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah.
But it's just fine tuning. That's all it is. Yeah. That is all it is. And the more professional you go, the smaller the margins are, the tighter the margins, and it's just that extra little tiny bit that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
So practice.
Yeah, practice, mate. Now, next goal. Bit of controversy.
So, wait a minute. So, this is 1-0 up Man City. So, was this the next goal? Was this the equaliser?
It was.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, who scored that one?
That was
the Italian guy. Californication. No.
Californication. No, let's have a look. I don't even know. California.
Okay, yeah. And this is debut goal, isn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah. So, there was a bit of controversy. And even...
what? He scored it from outside the box. He scored it.
No, so it's not so much that. There was a free kick, right, in Arsenal's half, right? Walker was still talking to the referee.
Who's Walker? Johnny Walker?
Johnny Walker. Have you got some? Right? And he was still talking to the ref. As far as I think everyone
I can talk to the ref and then...
I thought the game was dead. I thought the ball was dead, if you get what I mean. So you just got to wait for the referee.
Okay, so Johnny Walker was the guy that's supposed to be marking California.
Yeah, Johnny. I don't even know. What's his first name, Walker's first name?
Sorry, did I say Johnny Walker?
You just said Johnny Walker. You said Johnny Walker.
Let's just call him Johnny Walker, right?
Johnny Walker, with his hat and his cane, right? He was still backtracking, but he was still talking to the referee.
Maybe he was just mouthing off at the referee. This is just an example. Hey. It says, don't mouth off the referee, just stay focused.
Well,
his fault, really.
It was Michael Oliver. He deserves it. Anyway, let's carry on. Right. But even in the commentary box, everyone was like, well, we thought the ball was dead, and then Arsenal played. Everyone was, I suppose, switched off. All the Man City players were slightly switched off. Walker wasn't even in position, which is, you can turn around and say that's your own fault.
This is Arteta's thing. Stay switched on all the time. And take anything you can. I think this has Arteta's hallmarks.
Okay.
Fingerprints everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't... Yeah. I say if you switch off, that's your tough luck, really, isn't it?
Keep your guard up. It's like boxing. Keep your guard up.
Yeah. So, look, I don't think there's any controversy. Okay. Oh, I'm talking to the ref. I'm thinking, yeah, so?
Yeah. But I don't know, just as a fan of football, you think if the ball is you're waiting for the ref to blow the whistle.
What happened before? Was there a foul or was there...
I can't remember. It had to be a foul. I just remember focusing on this.
It's just one of those fouls that didn't require a whistle, maybe.
He lost it. He was going... and Walker's still talking to him. He's going... Goal! It's a goal. It's a goal. That's funny.
Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah. So there was that bit of controversy for that. And then that was the 21st minute when that went in. And that
was only 21st minute.
Yeah.
So wow. Still 70 to go plus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
45th minute, Gabriel scored.
Gabriel Jesus. Now, that was an interesting goal.
Yeah, again. Yeah, go on.
Was that Walker? Was that Walker?
Yeah, it was.
It was just pushing him.
But yet again, Walker turned around, I think, and said no, because I can't remember which. Because there was a corner or a free kick beforehand, and whoever was marking Gabriel wasn't doing a good enough job, and he managed to get a header in. So Walker was like, out the way.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll show you how it's done. This is how you do it, right? You just push him like that, and he won't score. But guess what?
He got left for dead, and he got the ball put in the back of the net from a header.
No, he scored the header from the side of the head. So he didn't score it like that, Gabriel Jesus. He ran around, and Walker was like, oh. And then Gabriel Jesus headed it. But it was from this side of the head on the left hand side.
Okay.
Sort of towards the back. Yeah, I saw it, and I'm thinking, hey, it doesn't matter how it gets inside the into the net. But
I think.
But I actually like that. I'm thinking there he was, Walker being a smart Alec.
Yeah.
And you know, doing the old little pushes thing, and then Gabriel Jesus just ran circles literally
You've got
round
to back
him.
it up.
I'm thinking, just don't have Walker in your defence anymore. Just leave him in the bar, you know.
Leave Johnny Walker at the bar. Put your cane and top hat away, mate. But yeah, and then.
But I enjoyed seeing that after, you know, the antics from Johnny Walker.
Yeah, from Johnny Walker. Yeah, but then what was it? Oh, that's it. Yeah, because then Arsenal had. I was reading that. Then I was thinking, I don't remember Tassard getting a goal. Right, he got sent off in the 52nd minute for supposedly kicking the ball away.
Was it two yellow cards? Was it?
Yeah, two yellow cards. But it was a very harsh decision from the ref. A very harsh decision, and it didn't.
It's mainly probably a dissent thing. Dissent.
Well, he took out. I think he took out one of the City lads, and then. It looked like someone did, and then it looked like he smashed the ball away. But the timing from the ref blowing up to when he kicked the ball away was very short. So it's not as if like it's very controversial. Anyway, so
good value for money game.
Yes, he got sent off anyway. Long story short, got sent off, and then Stone's goal. In the 97th minute.
How many was it? 11 minutes added time.
It was ridiculous. It was something like that. It was like 7 or 11. I can't remember.
Okay, but that's another controversy.
Yes. Yeah. Again, it's Fergie time. Fergie time. Pep time.
Pep time. Yes.
Yeah. Extra time just added on out of blatantly mucking around.
Yeah, but there was controversy about that goal.
Was there?
Oh my gosh, this is the main talking point of the
what?
Of
I
the
thought
game.
The talking point was the card.
So it was scored.
Yeah.
Haaland picks up the ball.
Oh, this part, yes.
This part, yeah. Tell us about it.
And he throws the ball at the back of Gabriel's head. He's even got his jersey over his face, and he throws it at the back of his head and bounces off. And you go, how is that not a card?
And it's not just a card, but it's a cowardly thing to do.
Yeah.
Because you've got a shirt over your head. By the time you put your shirt back over...
Yeah.
Who was it?
He's looking down at his team player. What'd you do that for? Yeah.
Ian Wright had a right go.
Pop at him, yeah.
Look, I understand. Why would you do that? You're an idiot, really.
Yeah.
Haaland, you're an idiot. I'll say that again. Actually, you should switch national teams because you're not going to go anywhere with Norway.
Yes.
Well, why don't you just come over to UK?
Surely you got a grandfather who's English, yeah, or an auntie who's American at least. Don't know, somewhere like that, mate.
Don't do that again, please. I know you got lovely Goldilocks style hair.
He's a tall lad. I didn't know.
Oh, he's a big tall lad as well. He's going to come after us now. We told him.
Get on the plane.
Told him off.
Get on the plane.
Yeah, it won't be any issue. He'll hire Colin to come over and
just cut his hair. It'll be shit. Mate,
I reckon you'd be like Samson. You know, cut his hair and he won't know how to play football.
It'd be streamlined like me. But on a whole, the game was an excellent game to watch. It was an amazing game to watch. And I wrote down here, I actually watched it in this order. I first watched the City game, then I watched the Liverpool game, and then I watched the Birmingham derby.
Yep.
And I genuinely wish that I watched the Birmingham derby first.
Right. Why?
Oh, mate, it was because the games...
From going from less to more?
the Liverpool and Bournemouth was a good game, but it was just the fact of the Bromley game was good, but it was nowhere near as good as the City. You can see why City...
No, did you just call it the Birmingham derby?
Brum, yeah. Where Wolves from?
It's the Black Country derby. Okay, Villa's in Birmingham, yes, and Wolverhampton is not quite Birmingham. So they call it the Black Country derby. Obviously, when West Brom play Wolves, it's more Black Country derby, but... I guess it's you call it the West Midlands derby.
Midlands derby. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, we're just getting him on a technical.
But the game was nowhere near as good. You can see why City, you can see why Arsenal, you can see why Liverpool are up there. Yeah. And it's a shame, and I don't mean this with any disrespect towards Villa or Wolves. I really don't. The quality of football was like two different leagues. It's like it was genuinely like that we were watching the Premier League and then we were watching the first or second division or the Championship, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And I genuinely don't mean that with any disrespect, because at the end of the day, the Villa game was a very good game, but it wasn't as good as...
It was. I enjoyed it. I only watched the short version of it. I saw the 9-minute of the Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I don't think I watched the Bournemouth game.
Didn't you?
No.
Okay.
I just didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
But I'm talking soft again, aren't I?
Whispering.
Yeah, look, I think these games, that'll be a memorable game. I always remember that time when Arsenal won a game in I think it would have been the 90s, late 90s, where, when a player is fouled or a player's down injured and the opposition team kick the ball out so that the player can get attended, and then it's Arsenal's throw. And normally the gentlemanly conduct would be to throw it back to the opposition.
Yeah.
And I think this could have been an Arsenal-Reading game or an Arsenal... I can't remember what game it was. But in this game, Arsenal threw it to one of their players and they scored a goal. And then everyone afterwards, how can you do that? Not gentlemanly conduct. That. You do remember?
Yeah.
I don't remember what team they were playing.
I don't.
But I definitely remember that. So Arsenal... Arsenal have their issues.
They do have their issues,
especially now with Arteta, who is a different kind of manager. I think there's not many like him. I was looking at like a sort of a graph as such, or a tree. They all come from Pep. Half of the good managers now, they've all come from underneath him. From his original club, Barcelona? From just anywhere, wherever he's. I can't remember the name of half of the other managers, but half of the other managers that have done really well, namely one is Arteta. If you look at him, he came from the school of Pep Guardiola. Well, you talking about La Masia, which is the academy for Barcelona? Or? Oh no, just in general, because it's like you look at Bobby Robson. It's like who came from him, the great one. I can't remember his name. Oh, there was a few people. Mourinho. That's it. There was a few people that came underneath Bobby Robson, and the translator, the chef, the bus driver. He was everything. He was a translator that somehow became a football manager. Yeah. But I mean, he still. I mean, he was sacked at Roma recently, but that's probably why they call him a special one, because he just knows how to manage. Yeah, true. And that is part of management. So just because you're a famous football player and you go into management doesn't mean to say that you're going to be able to manage properly. Yeah. So Mourinho he's on the market. He could have been the Socceroos manager, but anyway, that would have been interesting, wouldn't it? That'd have been funny. Imagine him over here. That'd be amazing. Yeah, I don't think national team is his kind of cup of tea, unlike Pochettino, who went to become the US men's national team coach, which I think is a great appointment. We'll see how he does. Yeah. You can't really go wrong, really, because it's a tournament that your country is hosting, so you've got to be there anyway.
Yeah, just rolls out of bed. But anyway, coming back to the City Arsenal game.
So I thought you finished.
No, mate.
Yeah.
Well, technically I have, but technically I haven't. The referee,
Oh,
Michael Oliver.
Michael Oliver.
Now,
Can I have some more, sir?
Oliver, yeah. Do you remember the peanut advert?
No.
You don't remember the peanut
Well,
advert?
I lived in Spain for a while.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I remember it as a young kid, and it was like Oliver went up to ask for more food. It's like, excuse me, sir, can I have some? Mum, and they did something with the video. Next, anyway, let's carry on.
You had to bring food into it. Bring food. Michael Oliver. Yeah.
Yes. If you look at his stats on cards, he's given fewer yellow cards and red cards, or fewer yellow cards to Man City than any other of the top 8 teams in the Premier League.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that due to his vacation to a certain place?
It was. We discussed.
Really?
I can't remember the game, but there was 4 referees, and they got paid 20 grand each, when normally their fees are meant to be 1,500. And ever since then, he allegedly.
You're looking out for each other, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Just mention that word in there.
But there's been a lot of controversy compared to Michael Oliver and cards towards Arsenal in general. But the people that are only bringing that up are Arsenal supporters.
What about Spurs? Because doesn't Spurs have quite a lot of red cards as well?
From him as
From
well.
him,
How many is it? 7?
One was 7, one was 5. I think Arsenal was 7.
That's it. Arsenal was 7.
And Spurs was 5, which I think is pretty high for just one particular
referee. Yeah.
So he obviously had something against London clubs.
Yes.
London clubs.
But
North London clubs.
North London, mate. But what's the... I didn't look at the stats for the Man United, so it's definitely not... I think it is...
I know Wolves had 3.
Yeah. It is pointing towards... Well, it's not pointing towards because it's all allegedly.
Allegedly.
Right. But it is looking like there's a lot of favouritism going towards Manchester City.
I think the extra £18,500 per referee was probably danger money from being exposed in the Middle Eastern heat.
The sun. Yeah. I don't know. So there is a lot of controversy around this. And
who brought it up? Was it the BBC or was it some other?
Oh, it was some lad on Facebook. It was my mate from the pub. No, there was an actual stat. No, jokes aside, there was an actual stat that's been circulating around on the internet. And what can you say?
You just found it.
I just stumbled on it. I was probably having... Well, it's one of those things, yet again. Are they listening? Is Big Brother listening?
Big Brother. Uh-oh.
Are you listening? Curry and
Yes.
chips. That's going to be the next advert for me. Curry and chips. But, you start talking about things on the phone and then suddenly things start appearing like that.
Yeah.
Ads,
I know what you're talking about.
Big Brother is watching, but that came up and I was quite intrigued about that. So
Yeah. I wanted to talk about, before we go into our Premier League match day prediction, shall we leave that we normally leave that till last, don't we?
Yeah, leave that till last.
The FIFA World Club Cup is going to be announced in New York, Central Park, at 7:50 a.m. Let me just get this right. 7:50 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be FIFA is going to be announcing the hosting cities and stadiums for a 32-team FIFA Club World Cup. So it's taking the old Intercontinental Cup or the Toyota Cup, which was used to be played between the winning European team and the winning South American team.
Yep.
That's the old format where they'd play a game in Tokyo, and whoever won the Intercontinental Cup.
Yeah.
And then recent years, in the last maybe 20 years, then they also featured the winning team from Middle East or Asian, Oceania, Africa, and CONCACAF, which is the North and Central American winning teams as well, and had, I think it was 8 teams play each other in 2 groups. And normally what ended up was, it would be the European team versus the South American team. Now that they're expanding even wider, but this tournament's actually going to take 1 month, between the 13th of June and the 17th of July, I think it is. Or no, 15th of June to the 13th of July. 32 clubs, some of which have been champions from, continental champions, plus ones that have been qualified by ranking. So most successful in the last three years or so.
Okay.
So what's going to be announced? We know the clubs.
Yeah.
I'm just going to rattle a few off. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Atletico de Madrid. You have Al Hilal, Manchester City, Flamengo and Palmeiras. They're the champions kind of teams. And also ranking teams like Benfica, Porto, River Plate, Boca Juniors, Paris Saint-Germain and Borussia Dortmund. The best thing about this is that FC Barcelona is not taking part.
Ooh, why?
Because they're rubbish.
But I thought they'd be up there.
They haven't done much in the last 3 years. So
I suppose,
I'm actually quite happy as an Español de Barcelona fan. I'm actually quite happy that Barca is not taking place. I'm just wondering. It's a whole month of football. I guess they're going to be organising it so the teams that are in Europe will play in Europe and the teams that are in South America. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at some stage they'll have to travel somewhere.
I was just about to say, where are they going to host it?
Yeah, they're going to host it in different cities and different stadiums. So that bit is going to be revealed within tomorrow morning.
Why are they doing it in America then? Why? I don't know.
I think a lot of the games
that.
are going to be in the US,
Okay.
but it seems that they are going to be. Actually, it could be that they are, and all the games are in the US.
Well, yeah.
Because there's also a Tunisian team, Esperance, who's taken part. There's Egyptian team. There's a South African team. So there are a number of African teams. And Central. There's Necaxa and Monterrey from Mexico. They're also taking part. So I think it's going to be in the US, but I'm not 100% sure. And this is what they're going to be revealing in under a day's time.
Wow. Okay.
The mission, and this is why I'm a bit skeptical, is because they're saying, this is the global citizens' mission to end extreme poverty. I'm thinking, if you're going to end extreme poverty, why don't you just donate the proceeds and donate the money? And why do you organise all this, which costs a lot of money, and players' time, and managers' time?
We're getting them to build a stadium to end poverty.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I don't buy that. And I could just see that's just added on to that to go, but it's all for a good cause.
Yeah.
Thinking, you expect my players after June 30 to then take part in this thing, which is...
I don't know, mate. There's more games to play. And it's going to be out of season for us, so maybe it's a good thing for a pre-season, a warm-up for City.
Yeah, they need the time.
They do, yeah.
I was a bit skeptical. I was happy to read about it, and then they said, ending extreme poverty. I'm thinking,
leave it to football.
That's the British standard.
It to football.
That's British standard. Yeah. Totally. We have a special code word for British standard. Yeah. BS. Yeah.
No, mate, I don't.
So I don't like that.
No. I told you I went to Rio Olympics, didn't I? And they built all these stadiums and everything, and now they're in ruin. When someone's
white elephants, are they?
Well, yeah, basically, yeah. Now they were about a year after the tournament, so anything like that now, I'm just a little bit like yourself. I'm a little bit skeptical because they're not going to get used. Again, those stadiums.
Look, I don't think there's going to be any stadium building for this. It's just they're just going to be announcing the venues. So, from what I understand, Atlanta United will probably have their Mercedes-Benz Stadium used, which I think is a great one because it's 77,000 capacity. So that'll be great. But yes, it's when you start putting all this other stuff in, I'm thinking, really. Who's really going to benefit? There's the TV companies, the sponsors,
Coca-Cola, McDonald's. No, never.
So, are you going to talk about the Bournemouth preview for this Monday?
No.
No, well, I'll talk about it. So, I thought I'd move on before I cause any more trouble. Bournemouth are playing Snakehampton.
Oh, okay,
I mean Southampton. Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, I forgot all about that. I was like, oh, yeah.
So yes, we'll see if Mr. Ryan Fraser starts on the bench or
Snakehampton. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's an unusual kickoff time. I think it's one of those Sky Sport things where you get to play on Monday at 8 p.m. And so everyone rushes from work or trying to get to the stadium, and then has a late night finish. Yeah. So it's at Bournemouth. It's at the Vitality Stadium or Dean Court.
Yeah.
And it's the last game of the match day 6. And let's start at the last game. So what do you reckon the result will be?
The way
a 1, an X, or a 2?
I think it's gonna be a home win, mate.
Home win?
Yeah, definitely.
I always know that Southampton have a habit of stuffing Bournemouth up when we think we are doing well, and they always come up with a surprise result.
Don't want to hear that.
You don't want to hear that?
I don't.
I would normally say a home win too, but I think they're gonna get something from the game.
Okay, brilliant.
No, it's not brilliant.
No, I know, but I just like your...
It's just the logic. Every single time that we thought, Southampton are doing really badly, we're going to beat. Who comes up but Lallana? Or there's other player that always used to have this habit, which I hopefully is no longer playing for Southampton. But I'm going to put an X.
Okay.
No, I don't want Bournemouth to draw or lose, but I think Southampton is going to do something and try and stuff us up. Newcastle versus Manchester City.
Oh, mate, it's a City win.
City.
That's it. It's a City win, mate. Yeah, it's an away win.
I would agree with you.
Yeah. It's a hard one. Like I said, after watching that final game.
You know what you said? How many games was it? Man City haven't
47, so 48 now.
I do remember Crystal Palace beating Man City at the Etihad maybe a couple of years ago. So maybe that was their last. That was maybe the last time anyone beat them.
Palace.
So yeah, I think it was like 2-4 or 3-1. I can't remember. I'll have to have a look. Brentford, West Ham United. Who cares really? But
no, because I was mid-flight of thinking then. No, I reckon that's a draw. Definitely a draw.
Well, I'm not going to give anything to West Ham United anymore. So I've been trying to hope that they did well, but okay. I'm going to say a Brentford win.
Okay.
Arsenal versus Leicester.
Oh, mate, that's an Arsenal win.
That's a why bother, yes?
Yeah.
I think so too, yeah. Chelsea versus the Seagulls or the Seaweed.
Mate, see, Brighton have been doing well.
They have or they haven't?
They have, but they're sliding a little bit.
They drew against Forest last week.
Yeah, but they've been up there for the first couple of games. So I would say I'm gonna go draw.
Draw?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Chelsea home win.
Okay.
Yeah. Everton versus Crystal Palace. I'm going to say a draw.
Oh, yeah? I'm going to go Palace.
You're going to go Palace?
Yeah, I
normally go Palace, but then they always disappoint me, so I'm thinking stuff Palace. I love your kit, but, you know.
Yeah. Best kit of this season, as voted by Crystal Palace. No.
Yeah. Forest versus Fulham.
Forest.
Yeah, Forest. Yeah.
Definite Forest.
Wolverhampton versus Liverpool. Yeah, I've already done it.
Thank you.
Ipswich versus Aston Villa.
I'll go Villa. Villa win.
Me too.
Yeah.
And the final game, Manure versus
Manure
versus Spuds. It's
Spuds.
a great combination. Manchester United versus Tottenham.
Yeah, mate. It's got to be Tottenham away. I think. I genuinely think it's Tottenham away.
I think it's going to be a draw. Actually, you know what? I stood up for Manchester last. What did I say for Manchester last time? I thought it was going to be a Manchester United win, and then it ended up being a draw. Yeah, I was going to say it's a draw. So you say a Tottenham away win?
Yeah, I say it's an away win. Solanke, 50 yards out, top corner.
Top corner.
Yeah.
That's not his style.
No, that's his header.
Oh, it's his header. Oh man, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to. We've got some friends going to that Bournemouth versus Snakehampton match.
Okay.
She's taking the AFCB Sydney.
So look out for this scarf.
Look out for the scarf. The AFCB Sydney Supporters Group scarf, and on the other side it says, "Supporting the Cherries Down Under since 2012." This is when I founded the group in November 2012, when we're still in League One. Eddie Howe had just come back from Burnley.
Okay.
I felt something was going to happen. And we've got some cherries in the background and some kangaroos there. So we've still got a couple of these to sell. So
just about to say, they're without taking the mickey, they're nice quality. You wouldn't. This is going to sound really bad, what I'm going to say now, mate, but I don't mean this with any disrespect. For someone, you wouldn't think that you would have made these. You'd have thought this would have been like some mass production, even though it was mass produced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's brilliant scarf, mate. I've got mine. Like it comes to the game. It comes to the games with me when.
When we go. Probably the only time I don't take it when it's a really hot day. There's no point. But you've done that, have you?
I still do.
You still do.
I still bring it with me. I'm like, it's a bit hot. I'm like, take this off.
Sure, they have different scarves. I mean, this is a jacquard, a 14-point scarf, and it's all to do with the actual closeness and tightness of the knit.
Yeah.
Then we have summer scarves, which are normally silk, lighter.
Wow.
And I know that because when doing this one, this is a slightly thinner, but still very tight. Very, very tight. It's different type of knit for this one. But so we've made a little bit of merchandise and stuff like that. But it's another learning experience.
Yeah.
You know what works, what doesn't work, how far you can go with certain designs.
Yeah.
If you go too detailed, it's going to get missed out. So then knowing what.
You can see the design on them. They're brilliant, mate. They are, and this is what I keep saying. It's like our Nick is a talented man.
Well, that's Bournemouth, but then
but just saying,
the Sydney one is the design on this was it's just the way the machine's set up. So you couldn't do the letters around there, but you could do it if it was facing at the top going down. Then that was fine. But on this one here, it's a lot more detailed. But anyway, I'm a bit of a designer, so no, it's always good to apply yourself creatively.
When you got 5 minutes.
When you got 5 minutes.
For you at the moment,
I don't have 5 minutes.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, that's the time when you sleep.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true. Did we mention the AFL Grand Final?
We
did wave the...
we did. Yeah. Swans.
Did you know that the Swans... I remember seeing the 2005 Sydney Swans Ticketek Parade outside Town Hall, and it was the first time the Sydney Swans have won an AFL title in 2005 since they moved from Melbourne. One of the suburbs I think it was Fitzroy in Melbourne, and they moved to Sydney. That's more of an American thing when teams relocate and the franchise and stuff like that. And then they won again in 2012, and that was the last time they won. So it's been 12 years.
12 years.
But Brisbane Lions, they had won 3 in a row from 2001, 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
And that's the last time they won. So that was 21 years ago. So you just switched the 1 and the 2 for each of the teams, you know. And it's ironic because back in the late 90s and 2000s, the noughties, it was about 10 seasons where no Melbourne team had won the AFL, the Aussie rules. You know, the Aussie rules are it's the Australian Football League, AFL, and it was pretty much originated in Melbourne. A lot of the Melbourne teams are even older than some of the English football teams.
Are they?
Yeah, so the Melbourne Demons are 1869 or something like that. So there's a lot of Melbourne teams based in the mid to late 1800s. So yes, it's going to be fun. I think the AFL fun's been played right now.
Okay.
So
you know what it's based on, don't you?
It's kind of like a rugby / football.
Gaelic football.
Ah.
Gaelic football. It's almost identical apart from the ball and obviously
the racket.
And the racket, yeah. But yes,
that's a tough sport. I wouldn't want to be hit by that ball.
The hurling.
The hurling.
Yeah, the hurling. I still got my ball in. I didn't play. Before anyone says anything, I actually bought one when I was used to live in Ireland and visiting. I actually bought a slither. I think that's how you pronounce it. I can't even get my words out for that. A slither, and then the hurley stick. I bought, and I
have seen those sticks. It's just a long one, and then it's got some metal reinforcements at the bottom.
Yeah. Some do, some don't. But
I was in Galway, and I was thinking of buying.
That's where I got the ball from.
That's where you got it from, Galway. Yeah. I think the Galway team is like a kind of maroon, similar to the Queensland colours, the dark purple maroon thing.
Yeah.
And I remember driving from Dublin all the way through to Carrick-on-Shannon, and then went some of the back roads and stuff. And they must have just had the finals because
what year was this?
98, and it was around about July, and a lot of the small towns that had the colours hanging from above, and thinking, something's happened here. And it must be a sporting event of some sort. And I don't know who the teams were, but I went into a sports shop in Galway and thinking, shall I buy one? Maybe not. I didn't end up buying anything, but yeah, interesting sport.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
Well, when I was over there, when I actually bought that ball, Galway did something. I can't remember if it was hurling or it was the football, and it was quite funny because you're saying that you saw the ticker tape parade for the
Sydney Swans.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I saw the Irish equivalent.
Really?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was half of the roundabouts were set on fire as the buses were coming through.
Why?
Kid you not, because in celebration, that's what they did. It was funny because I've never seen anything like that before in my life. Yeah, just had little bonfires on the road roundabouts.
Barbecue sausages, maybe. Or something.
You imagine that'd be brilliant. But yeah, so
there you go. All right.
Yes, mate.
We're done. We'll see how we went. I think last week I got only two results right, and you got 4.
Getting that footballing itch back, mate. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's it. I'm watching less, and you're watching more, and it's showing.
I don't know, not how I talk. How I'm talking. Football.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right. I think once again we've forgotten to say like, comment, subscribe.
Oh, we do it.
We forget every single time.
Week
because we just want to get straight into it.
Yeah.
So this is the problem, like we say. Most of the other YouTube channels I watch, the first thing they say is like, comment, subscribe.
We'll make a video, mate. We'll do a video in a second, and we'll do 3 of them. We'll throw it in. We're just gonna any old rubbish. We're just going to throw it in. Just comment.
Just comment. Yeah, and don't comment too much. Just comment a little bit.
Just one word at a time, please.
Well, one word at a time. Just a couple of sentences, not a novel.
Yeah.
So otherwise, that's another 5 minutes away from our time, isn't it? Nah, just kidding, mate. We'd love to hear from you. And if it's anything you want us to talk about,
yes, please. Yes,
just let us know. We look at the world of football from the last week and stuff. That's why I mentioned the FIFA Club World Cup. It's an interesting thing. I was really happy that Barcelona weren't playing, so I thought I had to mention that. You know what I mean? So,
brilliant. Yeah.
All right, we're done.
Right, next week. Take care.
All right. See you later.
Bye. See ya. 2, 1.
And one thing that's happened is that we've got the Rangers versus Hibs match coming up on. Actually, it's an early kickoff on Saturday. It's midnight. It's midday. Midday kickoff at Ibrox. Now, Ibrox is a pretty big stadium for Scottish standards. It's about 50. I think it was 51,500 seaters. There's an issue that's happened is that the tickets were only released on Thursday evening, right? And it's not just any old tickets. I mean, it's not like it's, the digital tickets were released Thursday evening. It's physical tickets. So Rangers delayed the allocation for Hibernian, the Hibs fans, until Thursday. The game is on Saturday at midday. So it's less than 48 hours, right? And depending on what time roughly it was on the evening is, okay, so if you need to pick the physical tickets up, which they're all physical tickets, then how are you going to get there? And what about the buses? I know that there are buses that are organised and companies that do that. They had to wait until this long. Maybe the buses, if I've got a fleet of buses and I'm just waiting, I'm losing money, right? So I'm thinking if anyone else comes up with wanting to book my buses, I'd let them book it. So less than 48 hours is pretty shocking when you've got, it is a sellout.
Yeah.
But it's 51,500 seats. You know that the Scottish FA would say you've got to allocate a certain percentage of seating arrangements to the opposition fan. So what was holding Rangers back?
Is it a tactical? It sounds daft. Is it a tactical thing?
Well, Rangers. I mean, I thought it's funny. Last week I said that Rangers are middle bottom. Actually, not. They're actually, I think, third. I just had it. I must have flipped the table in my mind.
We're in Australia.
And,
upside down.
I was hoping there'll be middle bottom.
Yeah.
And so it's. I was just. You give me a blue thing. Where's the green one? You should give me a green one.
It's. I actually, in my defence, I actually did say, "What do you think of the colour?
What colour do you want?"
Yeah, and you went, "I'll be fine."
I was going to say black, and I'm thinking, you give me a blue one. Now we're talking about Hibs, and I've got blue in my face. You know what I mean? Look, Hibs won their game against St Johnstone at home 2-0. I think there's a kind of optimism in the air. It's been 2 weeks since we last played, so that can be a negative.
Okay.
I think maybe, so. But it's Rangers.
Yeah.
And Rangers...
they're a top team.
Well, they are a top team, unfortunately. But, I hope we get something of the game, It looks like the players are gelling. The Hibs are gelling. They're growing into the season. Early days. I just hope if we nick a draw, I'll be over the moon. You know what I mean? Like there are some people saying, "Oh, we'll win 2-1." I'm thinking, that big stadium. Ibrox is that kind of
mentally
boxy. It's that boxy stadium. You know?
Yeah.
So
old style. It is.
It's a modern old style, but
yeah.
You've got the fans just like I always remember the Dundee United Stadium back in the 80s when they won the. Did they win or was it Barcelona? I think they won the European Cup Winners' Cup or something like that.
Yep.
And they played against Barcelona. I'm not sure if that was the final. No, they played against. No, they lost it. They lost the European. They lost the UEFA Cup against Göteborg in 1987. But I do remember from when I lived in Spain, they played Dundee United, played FC Barcelona, that the Dundee, I don't know what the ground is. I know they're called the Tangerines, but the ground was like the really on top.
Yeah.
And I think Ibrox is kind of similar, but it's a massive stadium. And to not allocate, what you normally do is you allocate the tickets, and then with a day or two to spare, if you haven't sold your complete allocation, then you return the tickets, and then the hosting club would then just make sure that they can sell the rest of the tickets. It shouldn't be the other way around, So I think a lot of Hibs fans were like, "Come on, guys, It's not a long journey, but it's still you've got things to organise. You've got you've got to tell the wife and kids or whatever. So, look, I'm going to the football, mate. I'm not coming back. So I just although it's just unusual, it's just crazy. Anyone's a Hibs fan, just let us know. Am I missing anything? Is Rangers doing this like Matt said? Was it tactical? Is it a tactical thing on purpose? Are they trying to just to
annoy the fans, and then annoy the fans, the team?
Yeah, but sometimes that can be galvanise the team. The Hibs, say, right, you're going to treat our fans like that? Then right, we'll show you.
Yeah,
2-1, 3-1.
Won't turn up.
That'd be worse, wouldn't it? I mean,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So anyway, just wanted to highlight that. We just wanted to make sure that let's see if we can get some points. And I'm not wearing my Hibs shirts today. Always have my Hibs hat. Up the high beat. Come on, Cabbage. Here we go. It's the nickname, actually.
Yeah, Cabbage.
Yeah, the Cabbage. Yeah. It's green. It's and I'd love to do a segment with a couple of Hibs fans talking about the history of Hibs.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of rich history. This was the first club in the UK that had proper floodlights in the 50s. Yes. And because of that, and because they had the facilities, they were invited to play in the first European Cup, the European Champions League, back in the 55.
55.
Yeah, and they reached the semi-final. They lost against Stade Reims in France. Yeah. And then we all know what happened. Real Madrid beat Stade Reims in the 55 final. Yeah. So, I love my history. I love my soccer history, my football history. So yes, there's a rich culture. I mean, 1875 is older than Celtic.
Well,
and 7 years later, Celtic was founded based on the fact that they liked the idea of an Irish-backed football club in Edinburgh, and they went and did that in Glasgow.
But wasn't it about that time that England weren't even in any competitions? I think about that time, wasn't it?
What, you're talking about the 50s?
Yeah, 50s. I think that was a time when they I don't even know how or why it came.
And I think the whole reason why the European Cup started was because Wolverhampton Wanderers claimed to be the best team, and the Europeans said, really? Okay, well, let's prove it then.
Oh, was it like that?
Something like that, yes. So I have to look into that particular aspect of it. But I thought it was just amazing that Hibernian were the first club to have a proper UEFA. Well, UEFA. It was called UEFA back then. Floodlights and facilities and stuff like that. And
floodlights.
Yeah. It was a major thing. Cause, I mean, you're up north.
Yeah.
It gets dark pretty early. You need floodlights. And
they needed heating.
Hey?
They needed heating.
Well, that's what the OXO and the pie were for, wasn't it?
And the iron brew. And the
you don't heat the iron brew up, that's for sure. But anyway, so I just want to mention that because I've forgotten to mention it in the actual main body of the podcast. But we'll add this in because I think that's a pretty important part. And I kind of skipped it. I was crossing things off as I was talking, and I forgot to mention that. So yes, non-electronic tickets are hard to pick up.
Yes,
you actually have to be in a physical place.
Yeah. Old school.
Anyway,
I prefer that.
All good.
Yeah. Ciao.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
Anything you want us to talk about, just let us know.
No, down below. So that was wobbling then. Right. Take care. See you soon.
Yeah. Bye.